90. 90 degrees in the old garage today. Most of this week's training a little bit differently, kind of just everything from the week so far is going to be all together. This is kind of a look of what I'm doing speed-wise in my training. Some bounding, I got some speed squats, some speed deadlifts, some conditioning circuit. I really didn't film my push press or my bench press. I don't know why. I think I was just tired and spaced. But so to show some variety of the bounding work I'm doing, just working on some agility and moving and trying to get the body to be more athletic here for the second half of my season. Strength levels are fine. It's just a matter of now I need to get faster and a bit more athletic, and I don't know, keep that pace going. Kind of all performance based here, a little bit more sport specific strength and reactive speed and those type of things. So here's a look at the training and some commentary with it inside of it. Not a whole lot of commentary, but check it out, and hopefully that'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. Maybe you can use some speed training the way I'm doing it in your training to be more awesome. Check out Drift to Lifter. It's available now, and cheers. So these are what my speed squats look like. I'm just basically, first couple warm-up sets here, just trying to move the bar as fast as I can every set all the way through the lift. And none of these weights are very heavy. I think this is probably around, it's like 60%, or something like that. I don't know. A lot of it goes by feel this time of year. My program is based on percentages, but I've done it long enough. I know where I feel strong and fast, and I really try to stay in that range. I really don't think I go much over about 75% during any of my speed work. Occasionally 1 or 2 sets just to feel strong, get some weight on the bar, but that's really about it. These are also kept on a pretty quick rotation, no longer than about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes at most between sets. Really just trying to keep under the bar and keep things firing. So that creates things a little bit different. I'm also really working on trying not to start every single sentence with the word so. It's a crutch, and I don't know why I used it, but it seems to fire things in instead of awkwardly just starting to talk. It's like I'm responding to some made-up question. This is my standard kind of deadlift warm-up. I've done a couple sets with the bar, and I've done a couple sets of these banded stretches, just trying to get everything moving. So there's a meathead mobility for you. I'm using the application of some good mornings and some side stretching, and just trying to get everything together. The band just provides a little extra resistance to keep everything firing all the way through. I am playing around with a Tendo unit here. I'm not 100% sure of the reading on it since I haven't read the manual. It's giving me some feedback. It's telling me I'm moving the bar at over 1 meter a second, so I'm pretty happy with whatever it's telling me. So that's the idea. And I'm pulling from a deficit. I have a tendency to pull all back and no legs. And so if I pull from a deficit, I actually have to bend my legs to get the bar back to the floor, so that's why I do that. Worked up kind of in the middle there of my 12 sets of 3 to a heavier set, just to feel something different. Kind of bounce around a little bit, but nothing too crazy. I think one of those 3 reps was under 1 meter a second, so I dropped the weight back down. At the end, you'll see me move back up to adding 10 kilos back to each side. I've really liked pulling from a deficit, just longer time that I can apply force and try to get that horsepower and speed straight off the floor. I don't know how much I feel like it's affected my deadlift per se, but as far as me being an athlete, I want to be able to apply force over the longest range of motion I can. With throwing, that's really going to be key, especially for the heavy weight over bar, caber, all those type of things. You can see I did a lot of deadlift sets here, and these are also kept on a pretty short return of you know, a couple minutes. So then I'd kind of move into my accessory work for the day. I did my push press, and I really didn't film a whole lot of them. I don't like the way push press looks in my garage trying to film it, so I didn't bother. Just got the work done in 12 sets of 3. I didn't feel like really fucking with the camera much. So this is some of the conditioning I'm doing. Also some accessory work. I'm doing some stiff-legged, not stiff-legged, but some snatch grip deads kind of from that hang position. More like a good morning almost, or already, I don't know. They hurt and they're heavy. Pretty happy with it. Just trying to keep the upper back tight and move that weight as fast as I can up to the hip. And you can see there I'm a little gassed. It's a little conditioning circuit I have here is 10 kettlebell swings with the 106 pound I've got. Then I believe I do 10 shoulder press or push press at 135 pounds. And then some bent over rows. I think I did this basically 5 times on the way through, just kind of as fast as I could. I'm not really keeping a clock on it, but I'm not resting between any of the sets. I'm just keeping moving, and pretty happy. And you can see how sweet I look. It is extremely hot in the old garage, as you saw from the intro clip there. Despite it raining for a couple hours, I mean, not getting to go throw or do any of that. It's just gonna be hot. It's summer in the South, so I got to deal with it. And you know, I personally like a training and anything like that. Whenever I'm done, that I'm basically soaking wet. I find that I don't know. I feel like I accomplished more whether I did or not. I'm probably just dehydrated. Who cares? That's what I like to do, and I may as well be gross. So then I finished off with just a couple sets, I think 4 sets of 25 with a behind the neck kind of push press there, just to burn the shoulders up after doing the 12 sets of 3. Got a little issue still on my left shoulder, one from the pec or whatever injury was a couple weeks ago, and so I'm still just trying to get right there. After all that, the following day, did some bounding work, and I'll do some Olympic lifts this weekend while I'm in California, as well as some sprinting, from what I understand, with old Jackie Perez. Gonna run some hill sprints. That ought to be fun. I'll get embarrassed by some skinny girls, or some strong girls for that too. CSA's got some beast. So go learn what I can while I'm out there and help out with Jesse's powerlifting meet and slang some merchandise. You've seen these before. These are seated box jumps. I'm using my 50-pound vest. You know, a box I can control, just really trying to fire the hips, jump as high as I can and land on it. I mean, the idea here is I want my hips to move as far as I can, not my knees. And these are just a little single leg bound over my block. And then some quick stuff. Just trying to keep moving and keep reactive. I want the body to, you know, be able to respond in a throw whenever I want it to, without any lag. You know, the thing about this is, you know, the front of a throw for the block, that left foot's going to slam down and immediately fire up. It's not going to have time to settle. Same for the right foot when it lands in the middle of the ring or the trig for throwing. I want to hit the ground and push all the way through it. You know, just more variations on some bounding work. I mean, you can do all this with a higher box. I do it on the smaller one. I don't find that it really makes a big damn difference. I did some on my bench too, which was nice. I'll be adding those in more regular. I've done them kind of sporadically through training, but I think I want to add more and more bounding this season. And then some ab works. Saw this online the other day, and it looked fun and challenging. So basically just locked in at the top there, and then some today it's hot as shit, and doing speed work. So the reason I do speed work, especially as a thrower, nothing I'm competing with weight wise is really very heavy. Everything, the heaviest thing I throw is 56 pounds, and you know, I'm trying to get a max distance out of something that doesn't weigh a whole lot. So when I'm working on speed work, I'm doing a much more sub-maximal weight than say I would if I was strictly just powerlifting. Hence why I still use like a 90% of my max to base all my percentages off of. Just keeps things a little lighter, a little easier, and make sure I'm moving them as fast as possible. That's one of the reasons I'm utilizing a Tendo unit or the power factor as I've had in the past to track those numbers. And the big deal for me is moving things at over a meter a second or whatever. I'm not sure if I'm getting max peak velocity or an average. Judd Logan seems to believe it's giving me an average, which is fine. I mean, the number's relative to every time I lift, so I'm not really sweating those details. But I'm just trying to move weights as fast as I can. That's going to give me, you know, that lift at the end. And really for me, a max lift at this point in the season doesn't do a whole heck of a lot of good. You know, something that's going to be a real grind isn't going to translate to me needing to extend my arm as fast as possible or me pull around as fast as I can to throw an implement. I need to train, you know, ideally I want to go as heavy as I can but still be fast. And so I'm using a meter a second to determine that speed. So that's why I'm doing speed work. You know, also it doesn't beat me up so much in the season since I compete a lot. You know, I don't need to be my best every weekend. I can still taper up for a peak, but I still need to be not hurt in season. So I can't really back out of meets or anything like that. Tickets and all that stuff have already been covered. So that's why I do speed work. That's why I think speed work's important for athletes, is to get that training. I mean, ideally, better for me would be the heavier weight I can still move fast. So that's how I measure strength in the season a lot. Now, if I've got a big enough break between, you know, a contest, I will go back and do another speed block, or I'm sorry, a strength block, and focus on some max strength and treat speed as an auxiliary with my cleans and snatches. So that's what I've got going on. I hope that explains it a little bit, maybe why you should do some speed work. And you know, speed work to me is not always this, you know, 80% range hitting what you seem to be speed with a band or chains, but I'm really trying to pull the weight as dynamically as possible. May not always be the greatest in strict technique, but it needs to happen fast. And I'm in a position that I'm safe. I've done enough lifting over the years that all those tiny muscles, they get wrecked under, you know, someone who's green in the 1 to 3 years, those are all built up enough, and I've done this enough that I know how to brace and hold everything. So that's what I've got going on. Check out the training. My next game is going to be in Portland toward the end of July, and then Seattle the following weekend. So if you're in the Portland area, want to come out, check it out, PDX Highland Games, and subscribe, like, and check out any gear. You can pick up Sweet Hate Brand Goods Double Guns hat, or the Dirty South shirt, an NWA shirt, at thehate.com, as well as some of the old stuff we got. Stuff is rolling out, and so I'm not going to make some of the old designs anymore, and work on getting some new stuff. So if you want one of the old things, you might want to go now and get it. Cheers. And this weekend I'll be in California for Jesse Burdick's SummerSlam meet. Looking forward to hanging out with everyone and seeing everyone there.